Hi, we're WISER Systems. I'm Seth Holler, CEO, and
Logan Maxwell, wearer of many hats.
this video is being made specifically for our current clients. And because our current clients have installed the system, they're using it, they like it, but then the question evolves into, are they getting the most value of it? Could they be doing something more? So with that setup, take it away, Logan.
Well, and if you're watching this and you're not one of our current clients, you probably still get a decent amount out of this, because what we're going to talk about is what are other things in our facility we can tag, and likewise, what can we do with the data that we're already generating, right? You basically have these two big things. You have a track and find, locate and search portion of this product, and there can be a lot more things that you're trying to search and find that you're not thinking about. But there's also, we're generating a lot of this location data and zone triggers and entries and exits. That's just natively being generated at your facility. Find a way to harness that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes someone comes in, they have a very narrow use case. They want that solved. It's a pain point. They go and install it.
I would say most times.
Yeah.
I would say most times when people come in, there is a pain point of something that needs to be tracked.
We are losing our whip. It disappears. We have to remake it. There's a cost to that remake.
Yeah.
Solve this problem. And then once they solve it, that's it. No one thinks twice. It's a solution that's put in. But because of the platform nature of the solution, that it can really track anything with a tag, there is so much more to be had. And our role when we come in and talk to customers again after they've been running it for a while is to remind them of the possibilities of how much more they could get out of the system, how much more savings, how much more throughput. And so with that in mind, day one, what's the number one thing that they want out of the system?
They want to stop losing stuff.
Yes, track and find, right?
Sure, track and find, search, locate, whatever you want to call it.
Stop losing stuff. I want a dot on a map to tell me where this item XYZ is, because it's causing me significant pain in some way.
Correct.
And they get it in, they run it, and they're successful, and then they immediately forget about what other possibilities they are, because they have solved their pain point. Their job was to solve that pain point, and they've moved on.
And absolutely no shade to anybody who's put our system in and is using it in that way. And I know if some of you are watching these videos, and I don't know if anybody watches these videos, but if you are watching these videos, you know who you are. Absolutely no shade. That's a lot of people. And I think eventually, hopefully we can get everybody in our ecosystem to talk to each other. A lot of times we're dealing with Fortune 250,
right.
Fortune 250, Fortune 100 companies, and there's a lot of rigid NDA structure that prevents these digital transformation guys from speaking to each other across non-competitive industries.
Right, yeah.
But it would be really great if and these videos I think are a stepping stone to try to get this information, right? So an example would be Iowa shop or Texas shop, that they start with one use case, right? And for one, it was our test equipment. We have electronic test equipment that rolls around our facility. We lose track of it. We need to be able to find it, bring it to the line, do something, right? We lose track of where it is. It's time and money. We're not getting our product out the door, and we've got people running around looking for stuff. That's a track and find use case right there,
right.
if I've ever heard one, right? So you get it installed, right? Well, now all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute. We have the infrastructure in our ceiling.
It's already there.
It's there.
It exists. It's practically free at this point.
It's like wall to wall, right? As they'd like to say, it's free real estate at this point to purchase more tags and simply put it on other things. So now they expand into WIP, right? And that makes total sense. You now are going to have a new use case that you can do, and it can go the other way as well, where you've started with WIP and you can move into your test equipment.
Right.
Some additional examples, and again, we're still in the locate, search, and find. We'll get to the data later, but the locate, search, and find, think about your facility running. Think about it. You know your facility better than we do, but I can go ahead and tell you some of the things I've seen other shops do, right? So one thing is you have fall protection equipment. That needs to be calibrated, right? Probably don't have a ton of it, but it needs to be calibrated every year, and it floats around the shop. It should be somewhere. You go to try to look for it to calibrate it, it's gone. That's 2 additional tags, right? Is it worth $100 to you to save 20 hours a year? Probably.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it's like, okay, like all of a sudden that starts to make a lot more sense. Those sorts of things, ladders, carts, bins, any sort of material handling equipment, anything where production slows or people are running around looking for it, wasting time when they should be producing, right? And these can be very small, simple, cheap things where you wouldn't have thought about it initially because the infrastructure is now already in place. So I wouldn't have put this system in to track my calibrated gauges,
but now
that it's in, why not track some of our calibrated equipment? You've got wiring harnesses that need to be calibrated every so often. You need test equipment has to be calibrated every so often. You have gauges that need to be calibrated every so often. You have all sorts of things that float around in that manner.
We've even had an operations manager want to be tagged themselves so people can go and find him when they have issues on the floor.
Ideally, you are not in a shop position where you have to have people running around asking questions all the time. But if you are, and most of you are, you will gain benefit from having the shop floor leader or whoever needs to be responsible for that have a tag on, put their name on there. So they're a dot moving on the map just like everybody else. You can go find them and get your questions answered. That is a real use case that is happening currently, right? So think a little outside the box. A clipboard. So a lot of times you manage your manage particular inventory or you're managing your WIP flow and process and physical things, a tag can go on that. A tag can go on your tablets, it can go on your clipboards, it can go really onto anything.
Put it on your, so those expensive scanners that you have,
right?
Where you have barcode scanners and you use them throughout the facility and sometimes they walk off or they disappear or get put in the corner, just put a tag on it and so you know where they are.
Yep, exactly.
You know, that $6,000, $7,000 piece of equipment.
Yep, absolutely. So all of that are easy things. We say easy, but it's easy to think of when we get to cross-functionally see multiple different industries, right? We get to see the overlap.
Right.
So we're in a privileged position to see where this industry is doing versus this industry, and not competitive, but just like they're all manufacturing processes, so they all have something in common. Think about those sorts of use cases for your shop. It may solve more problems than you were initially thinking of, right? Any sort of bins of raw product material, anything, even if it's less expensive, you've already done the expensive part, your infrastructure's already in.
Right, so this is just marginal increase in cost compared to the increase in the ROI that you get out of it.
Yes. So shifting gears.
So now we've done the track and find, locate various items. So are we going into the data now?
That's what I was thinking. And this is probably a kind of a whole separate thing. But for our current customers, we on the WISER side want people to be able to manage and use the data that's being generated.
Yes, it's not just currently where items are located. There's a whole slew of historical data and patterns from that historical data that can be capitalized on generally.
Yes, and a lot of times you guys are already installed on-premise, right? We do have some cloud folks, but a lot of folks are generating data on-premise into a database that already exists there. And you already have that data, so you want to see you effectually capitalize on the data that already exists that you're already generating. And so contact us, reach out to us, us in particular, Andy Graham, really anybody on staff that will be able to kind of guide you through. I wish I could get you all, I have seen great things done at the data level at a lot of different shops, and of course none of them can talk together. And so without trying to violate our confidentiality agreements with each of these different industries and facilities and use cases and sites, there's a lot that can be done to make sure that you are getting zone entries and exits of your WIP as it hits each station. Now all of a sudden you can analyze bottlenecks, right?
Right, and that improves overall production efficiency.
Spaghetti diagrams, lost work analysis of individual roles, right? You don't necessarily want to know how far Steve walked, but knowing how far a lead line engineer walked in a given time frame, super useful. That's another thing you can use the tags for that we didn't mention is you already have the infrastructure in place to do some lost work analysis. All of that data is being generated. We want to see you utilize it. So we're slowly building our tools out. Always check in with us, keep up to date with us, because we are building those tools out. But we also now have services to come in, view your shop specifically, look at how you are using the system and how your product flows, and then we can build out dashboards for you, functional views, call them like airport kiosks or even like fast food menu kind of stuff where you can have specific things, median time and zone of performance, that's all data that's being generated. How are we doing? How far is this flowing through? We can build that out. We can also coach you on how you can build it out using the APIs and the data that already exist.
Right.
So
inevitably, people start with track and find, finding stuff. The real value we see, and almost inevitably, we can go into any shop that has a current WISER system deployed, and then offer ideas that improve the ROI of expanding the system, or not expanding the footprint, but expanding the number of tags and how they're used.
Right.
Most certainly, production efficiency, equipment utilization are very high on that list, and we offer those services and capabilities to come in and help you there.
So pending our ability to show, we hope this can be the first in a long line of series, even to the point of having a physical kind of meetup. But for current customers that are looking to do more, there's a lot of different people doing really cool things, and we want to see everybody get up to that level of really utilizing the historical data that they have.
I guess Logan is volunteering to organize some sort of event for it.
I would love to, and I think we should. But I also think no one is legally allowed to say anything about what anybody's doing. So it'd be a very quiet event. The food would be good. I'll get good food, but it would be very. The conversations would be very circuitous and tangentially related.
We're off topic, but we appreciate your time, everyone. You know where to reach us: website, email, phone call.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've already probably likely have long conversations with us if you're a current client. Just reach out. We're gaining new features. We're gaining footholds in a lot of these different industries, and we're able to innovate by seeing all these different marketplaces, all these different structured verticals. We're able to see what could work in steel may work for electronics, may work in automotive, may work in aviation. Yeah. So just reach out.
Thank you again, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks.